Hello, welcome to Learning Conferences. My name is Miss Roll, and this video is for the Physical Science class, also known as Science 9. Welcome. Let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, since I find that parents usually want to know who's teaching their kids. So first of all, my name is Kari Roll. Previously, I taught for 4 years at Park Center before switching to the Distance Learning Academy this year. Every year I've taught mainly 9th grade science. I've also gotten to teach the electives astronomy and environmental science as well. A couple of my goals and my personal philosophies is I really want students to ask questions and to take some risks with their learning. I really feel that the willingness to make mistakes is the biggest way for a student to learn. So I constantly am encouraging them to ask questions and not be afraid to make mistakes. And overall, my goal in teaching, other than, of course, getting them to learn the materials that is required, is to help fuel a lifetime of curiosity. I think that being interested in the world around them and how it works is a really amazing way to live life. Another thing that about me is that I am an animal lover. I have a number of fish, a turtle, and recently, just at the end of this summer, I adopted a kitten. So if you happen to walk past our Google Meets, you might see him climbing around on my shoulders or running around in the background. So right now, I am going to exit the presentation and take you on a quick tour of our Schoology class. There are lots of resources in here, both for you as a parent as well as your students. So first of all, when they arrive at our student class on Schoology, you will see this big banner up top. This is all clickable links. So all of these things listed right here, all the students have to do is click. They can click on the email Miss Roll and it pops up with an email already with my address in it. Grades takes them to our Schoology gradebook, which is where our most current grades will be. The attendance form for the days that we don't have a Google Meet. Obviously our class Google Meet link. My office hours, so students can choose to either sign up for an individual slot where they won't be interrupted by other students, or if I don't have things scheduled, I will be at the open office hours link. And then our syllabus, which has lots of answers to questions. There will be a folder for each week, and students should know how to go about looking in these folders for our assignments. But each weekly folder, actually I'll show you week 2 here, will include a checklist for the week. Your students will only see one for their class, which tells them exactly what they should be doing on what day. And then the assignments and the links and things are divided into our folders. So either for their Monday or Tuesday Google Meet class, for their Wednesday or Thursday Google Meet class, and then for the homework days in between. So those are the days that we don't have a Google Meet. All of those things will be found in these folders throughout the week. At the top, or closer to the top of our class, is also this help folder, which is honestly one of the best places to direct your student if they're having questions. In here, I've included my office hour links, a spot for them to ask questions about the class, just because often if one student has a question, so does half the class. So this way I can answer the questions and it's visible to everyone. My syllabus is here, and then there is this folder with some technology help. So the district puts out lots of different links and tutorials and helpful documents for students, and I keep them all in this technology help folder. So if you're having a tech issue, there is a really good chance that there's an answer in this folder. So please use that, take a look, and hopefully it helps. Last thing I want to tell you about on Schoology is their student science notebook. So this is the one place where all of their notes for the entire trimester will be. I will do a couple of notebook checks throughout the trimester, but they will be taking notes in this assignment. It's essentially their digital notebook every week throughout the trimester. So this is a great place to check and see kind of what the things that they have been learning are. I'm going to go back to the presentation here. Click present, there we go. And go on to the next tidbit of information. So what are we going to be learning in this course? It is a year-long course, so we do have 3 trimesters worth of material. Here we're starting off with the scientific method, focusing mostly on identifying variables and putting together an experiment. Then we're moving on to metric measurement, then motion and forces, including friction, and ending our trimester with Newton's laws. Second try, we will do work power and simple machines, energy, and then do an introduction to engineering unit. And third trimester, we move into my personal favorite, chemistry, and we learn about the periodic table, atomic structure, chemical bonding, and reactions. Hopefully your student is interested and excited about several of those topics. A couple of skills that I always like to mention that we are using throughout this course that are applicable to life and not just to science content that we are focusing on are critical thinking, problem solving, group work, logical processes, communication, and asking questions. I highlighted and bolded the communication and asking questions because this year in the Distance Learning Academy, those two will be extremely important, and we'll be focusing even more on those. One of the interesting things about doing distance learning is that I don't have as much visual feedback from students as I would in the classroom. And so students really need to start working on being self-sufficient and asking for help when they need it, or telling me when they're not understanding something. So please continue to encourage your student to do that. Next, I just wanted to give you a rundown of what our standard Google Meet lesson looks like so that you kind of know what to expect from your student as they're on their Chromebooks working. So we'll always do some kind of a welcome and check-in just to see how things are going for all of the students. Then I'll go through any reminders or announcements. And usually we'll do some small content review just to check that they've understood what we maybe did asynchronously for some learning through notes. Or just kind of ground them in what we're going to be learning for the day. And then we'll move on to an activity. Now this is where your student might still be working and in class, but not necessarily on our Google Meet. We have a couple of different options that I'll play with throughout the trimester, but this includes going to different Google Meets with smaller groups of students. It includes maybe logging off for a while. It might include muting everything and turning off their camera, but still kind of working with a Google Meet open. But this activity time is opportunities for them to practice the skills and the information that they are learning. I will always have students come back before the end of the hour, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, to check in how the assignment went and make sure kind of that everybody was still doing something and didn't just disappear to play video games. So that's our standard lesson. Now, if you have any questions about things that I went through or things that I didn't, please feel free to log in to our Learning Conferences Google Meet and ask them. Otherwise, I hope to meet you in the future and have a wonderful year.